Good morning. It's Monday, March 2023. It's the first Monday of March. I have no idea what day it is. I'm on my way to work. I haven't made videos in a while. I made one video the other day. I think it was Friday morning. I made a video explaining why I haven't made videos in a while. And the same reason holds true. This is why you're at a weird angle this morning. I don't have a phone holder attached to my windshield currently like I did for all of the other videos. It broke really weird too. Broke at the so there's a suction cup that goes to the window, and there's an extension bar that comes off made of some kind of malleable metal, and it actually broke, I guess, where the bar screws onto the suction cup. I still have it. It's probably repairable to some degree. And even though I haven't made a video in well over 2 weeks, I haven't spent the couple of moments it would take to repair it. Multiple ways I could just super glue the plastic tube to the suction cup. There's a myriad of possible repairs that I could have done, and I didn't. I'm on my way to work today. I haven't been in work because of gout. I don't know if I already mentioned that, but I did in the video explaining why I haven't made videos in a while. I have a pretty severe case of gout. It's been going on for 2 weeks. I thought it was getting better, and it's this morning was a surprise. I actually bought new shoes. I have steel tip shoes that I've been wearing for the past couple of years to work. I still have them. They're at home. But they're slip-ons, and they're not any tighter than any normal shoe would be, but they're pretty tight. So, unbeknownst to Speed, I didn't realize this until when I literally just before I decided to go shopping for shoes. And I don't know how many years I've had them. They're Red Wings. And they've actually held up pretty well. They're a pretty good shoe. But I realized when I was looking at the name, the actual heel is starting to separate. Mind you, I wore these shoes every day for years on end in a shop doing stupid stuff when I walk around the shop. So definitely got my money's worth out of them. But I went out this weekend, and I had to buy some new shoes. In case you hadn't noticed, I am going to be taking the highways today because it's taken me a long time to get moving. So I'm running later than normal, and there is absolutely no chance of taking the back roads and making it to work on time. So I'm going to take the highways today. I did not listen to the traffic report beforehand, so we're rolling the dice together. We'll see what happens. So I went out and I bought a pair of Timberlands lace-ups. I really wanted slip-ons. I want to say I got lace-ups because of the gout, and I can leave the shoes looser, but that was really an afterthought. I thought of that after the fact. And it's probably a good thing too, because my foot is in extreme pain, and I literally have the shoe as loose as it can possibly be right now, and it's not as bad as it was at the worst, but I think you can get used to just about anything. But it's a pretty severe pain. So anyway, I still have a gout flare up. It's the left foot, the big toe knuckle, where the toe meets the foot. That thing is like just. It almost looks like I think what a bunion is called, where the knuckle sticks out sideways and the toe's all bent like this, but the whole foot is swollen, but especially that area there. So anyway, I've got that going on. I'm going into work today. My boss has been really cool about this. He probably would let me stay home, but I really need to be there. It's been 2 weeks since I've been in the building, and I really need to take a walk around the shop floor and physically see where things are. If in the future, in case this happens again, maybe I'll park a remote drone at work and ask someone to open the door to the shop so I can just fly it through and physically look at the floor. But for right now, I've got to go in. I forgot to bring my walking stick too. That's unfortunate. That is really unfortunate. I wish I had brought that. Dangnabbit. Oh well. I do not have time to turn around and go get it. So I started making, and I think I'm going to do a video on this. I made pickles before, and there's a photo anthology on Facebook of my pickle making prowess. This was at least 8 years ago because I was in a different house when I did it. It's surprising how quickly time flitters away. But I'm making sauerkraut, which is literally just. I don't know why I'm going to make a video about this, but I think I will because I haven't made a video in a while, and I'm kind of jonesing to do it. But it's you literally just take cabbage, buy cabbage, take it home, clean it, peel off the first few outer layers of leaves, and then you slice the cabbage into 8 slices. Quarter it, and then halve the quarters, and that gives you 8. And then you slice it across the grain, so you slice it across the wedges you have, and that gives you all these. Oh, you take the core out too. Take the core out. I take the core out when it's quartered, just easier. And then you slice it into like strips, and then you put it in a bowl with a head of lettuce is about a tablespoon and a half of salt. You put it in a bowl and you just massage it for very vigorously. You massage. Am I in the right lane? I am in the right lane. Am I supposed to be in the right lane? Yes. You massage it pretty vigorously for about 5 minutes, and then it'll start releasing cabbage juices. Yum, yum. And then one cabbage, I've found that one medium cabbage head will fill 2 mason jars. So you take the massaged cabbage, you put it into the 2 mason jars, and then you put the leaves that you had pulled off earlier, which are already washed, you break them down to a size that'll fit in the jar over the shredded cabbage that you've put in there, and you press it down, and then you wait a few hours, and the cabbage will continue to release juices. And at this point, you just start pressing every few hours, like a couple times a day. You press it down. I found that I have an olive jar that fits inside my. I say mason jars. I think they're mason jars. I want to say apple. It's not apple. I think it's Bell. Bell jars, wide mouth. Those little olive jars. If you go to the BJ's or something like that, they sell olives, 6-pack of olives. What was that? They sell a 6-pack of olives. Those jars fit nicely inside of a Bell jar, so you can use them. Like I was initially pressing by hand, but I found that smaller jar works very well. So every couple of hours I come back, and I keep saying every couple of hours, a couple times a day I come back, and I didn't have time this morning. I will do it as soon as I get home from work. But you take the olive jar and you press down the cabbage, the shredded cabbage, which has the whole leaf on top to keep the rest of the cabbage submerged. Also, when you're not in the process of pressing down the cabbage, what I've done is I've taken paper towel. I have Selecta-size paper towels, so they're not full sheets. Anyway, take one slice of the Selecta-size paper towel, you cut it in half, and you can use hair ties, rubber bands, whatever. And when you're not in the process of pressing the cabbage down, you rubber band paper towel at the top so that there is an air exchange with no dust or little critters can get into your cabbage. To explain what I'm making, it's sauerkraut. Like what happens is it ferments and it turns into sauerkraut. Just not making rotten cabbage, if that's what it sounded like. It is freaking cold in here. I don't have the heat on. That's good. So today's Monday. I'm trying to remember when we went to the store. I think it must have been Saturday. Yeah, so Saturday, made it Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So this is essentially day 2. My understanding is anywhere from 3 to 10 days or longer is how long it takes for your shiny new cabbage to turn into rotten sauerkraut. So I've got 2 jars going, and one of them I'm going to taste after 3 days. Not necessarily going to put it in the refrigerator to stop the fermenting process, but I am going to taste one of them after 3 days. The other one I'm going to leave for a full 10 days before I taste it, just to see the difference. So that's what's happening with the cabbage I bought this weekend. So yeah, not a lot has happened since I haven't been making videos. The first 3 days I couldn't work at all. I couldn't even work remotely. But for the week and a half after that, I was working remotely, and it wasn't too difficult. I mean, obviously, I can go around the house barefoot. I can't do that at work. I have to have shoes on to go to work. I have a note in my pocket from my doctor saying that I can't work because I can't wear shoes. But here I am. Check it out. I'm wearing shoes. But it's not pleasant. I've been taking colchicine. Do not ask me to spell that. Don't ask me to spell anything. I used to be a good speller, and then I didn't care anymore. So I had medication from 3 years ago. I started taking that when the flare-up hit, but after a day or so, we thought, hey, this is really old medicine. Maybe I should see a doctor. We called Teladoc, which was probably one of the most pleasant experiences I've had in a long time dealing with doctors. Guy was friendly, informed, very knowledgeable. And he called the prescription into the Rite Aid or whatever it is. Is it Rite Aid? I think it's Rite Aid. And that went well. I ended up seeing my doctor anyway, just because I wanted to, because I had missed 3 days, I wanted to at least have a note for work explaining my malady and actually have a physical person look at it. Probably a waste of money, but I just did it to be on the safe side. Belt and suspenders kind of guy. And if it seems like I'm talking about the gout, the foot, way too much, it's because it's constantly on my mind. It is truly painful. What's interesting is once you have gout, there's all this information about how to treat gout, all these medications, what foods to avoid. Before you get gout, there is absolutely no warning. There's no one saying, hey, don't do this, or this, because you will get gout. I don't think that's fair. Because once you have gout, you've got it. You're just, that's you now. And you have to be careful. My body is very good at warning me about certain things. It's I think my body is hyper aware. One of the things I have is vasovagosyncopy, which is a weird condition. It's a self-correcting condition. It's mostly a women's disease. It used to be called swooning sickness. Basically, I'll pass out because my body overregulates my blood pressure. I have naturally low blood pressure, and what happens if something happens to you, either way, like if my blood pressure changes, my body goes crazy. It just overcorrects. So like when I'm thinner, like right now I'm under 200 pounds, but I was way up over 200 for a while there. I started a diet recently that kind of went out the window. I was doing intermittent fasting, and it was working really well. It got me down to under 200 pounds. I haven't done it for the past 2 weeks because I've been dealing with this nonsense, so it just really wasn't focusing. But just so you know, I stabilized exactly where I was. So the weight I lost stayed off. I am still under 200 pounds. Anyway, what was I on about? It wasn't about the diet. It was about vasovagal. So when I'm thinner, like when I'm down around 160, I'm more susceptible to it. When I'm a great big hydrated fat person, not so much. But when I'm thinner, like I will literally get lightheaded at the urinal. Like if I'm standing at the urinal and I'm peeing, the change in body pressure is enough to cause my body to go haywire. It'll sense a drop in blood pressure. It'll raise my blood pressure. It'll sense that my blood pressure is high, and it will just suddenly drop my blood pressure like to nothing. I'll go pale and I'll get weak in the knees, and I've never actually passed out at the urinal, but I've been close. I've seen the stars and things like that in my eyes. But I have passed out for various reasons, like at the doctor's office or something like that. Someone will. I won't necessarily pass out if I get a needle, but there has to be deliberate movement. The nurse, I explained this. I remember it's. I've explained to a nurse before. In the process of explaining to her, I have to know when it's happening. She's just being clever, and she just pulls it out and hits my arm, and she's very good at her job. But I need to warm up. So yeah, out like a light, just passed out on her, and it was her fault. I have a medical condition. I am completely aware of it. I'm completely self-aware. I know what my medical condition is, and you just have to be. It has to be deliberate. There has to be there's a plan. This is going to happen. It gets done, and then it's over, and I'll be fine. But yeah, if you just surprise, stick a needle in my arm, it goes out of control. In fact, it's so bad. I was under a lot of stress at one point earlier in my life, and I ended up in a hospital because the stress was so bad. And I was laying on a gurney, and the same situation happened. Someone I think I may have already had a port in my arm, but that doesn't matter because the needle coming over, it's the same whether or not I already have a port or not. When someone whips out a needle, it's no, it's got to be deliberate. I have to know what's happening, and so I'm already laying down on the gurney, and the doctor or nurse or phlebotomist, whoever it was, whips out this needle, punches it into the port in my arm as I'm trying to explain, and done. I'm literally laying down, and I'm already pretty pale, and I turned a ghostly white gray. My lips went from whatever pinkish color they are, they went just white. And my wife was there at the time, and she's losing her mind because all the machines, I was hooked up to a bunch of machines, heart monitors and things like that, and they just start going crazy because my blood pressure literally dropped to zero. And they're bringing in crash carts and things like that, and it was fantastic. It was the best thing ever. So why was I talking about vasovagal syndrome? I can't remember. Just one of my many melodies, I guess. Ow, 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 ow. Trying to get my foot comfortable in my shoe. That's just not going to happen. But I'm just moving it to make it less painful. This was probably a bad idea, but maybe I'll get an E for effort. Once I get to work, the shoe is coming TF off. Today might be the 6th. I think it's the 6th. drives in cars, they often show the time, but they don't show the date. I guess the date's really not as important as the time. Like, if you're in your car going somewhere, like, you already have an established plan, I don't think the date comes up so much. I do apologize for this weird angle. Like I said, I don't have a... what don't I have? I don't have a stick it to your windshield. I actually tried. With the phone holder that the phone is being held in right now, I was going to put that up on the dashboard and maybe try to show the trip like I often do. I especially wanted to do it this morning after I came out of the house because it's a nice, if it's not a full moon, it's dang close. It was like kind of low on the horizon. I don't know where it is right now. It must be behind me. But it's a nice bright full moon. Very pretty. I wanted to. I've thought many times, because we live up on a hill. I don't know what our elevation is. I think we're about 600 feet above sea level. It's not crazy high, but it's high. And in winter, the skies are clearer, and we have some really nice views of the sky that we don't take advantage of. I really want to seal off the porch in the back of the house so we can spend more time out there, especially in winter, because the skies in winter, especially at night, are pretty awesome.